Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and not often do you see a mouse that is just praised by everybody who touches it. I'm kidding, it's like fucking every mouse. But the Pulsar Xlite Wireless is the one I'm going to be reviewing today. This is not a review unit. Pulsar stopped sending me those for whatever reason. I can't imagine why. So I did pay 75 big ones. I dealt with the shipping from Korea. And I think the mouse came out to something in the low 80s for a mouse with a 3370 Kill 8.0s. Like the spec to price ratio on this mouse is baller, dare I say. But is the mouse itself baller is the question at hand. So the first thing to talk about is, I guess, the shape and weight. On my scale, this weighs 59 grams, and this is a pretty large mouse. A bit larger in the super light, so it does feel around the same weight in hand, even though the weight balancing is, I would say, poorer on the X-Lite than it is on the super light. But that being said, the weight balancing in hand doesn't really cause any issues. This mouse does feel like sort of hollow. Maybe it's just like the psychological effect because you can see through the mouse, you can like finger it. But really the weight in hand, especially if you're putting some pressure, you aren't going to notice the poor weight balancing. But as you can see, there's just nothing towards the back. The battery's right at the center of the mouse, so it makes sense that it isn't balanced extremely well. These clicks are not, oh wait, I didn't talk about the shape that nobody has ever seen before, an EC2 clone. Oh my god, has anybody ever tried the EC2? Let me know in the comments. And this is just the Xlite shape compared to some other popular modern ergos. As you can see, it's probably closest to the Outset AX. I would just say the Outset AX is better quality in every single aspect, but the Xlite Wireless is, of course, wireless. So now that I have gone over the shape, you can see it is a medium to large size. Yeah, I wouldn't call it large. I'd say it's like it's a medium ergo. So it's like on the medium side of medium, close to the large side of medium. And people have clicked off because the video has stopped making sense. But yeah, next thing to talk about are these clicks. And this is just a reminder that Kill 8.0 does not mean good. It just means the mouse is using Kill 8.0 switches. The click implementation and just the design, it feels really weak to me. Like, I would 100% prefer the GPX with just stock Omron 20Ms to the Pulsar Xlite. I just opened Quake Live, bro. What the fuck? How did that just happen? Hello, Rocket Jump Ninja? Okay, that was extremely weird, but like I was saying, the click design on this mouse just doesn't feel great. You see there's no split shell design, which in my experience, mice I've used with this design, it just makes it harder for the clicks to have a good and consistent tactile feeling. Towards the top of my right click, there is a lot of pre-travel. If I had to spam this click a lot, maybe I would see issues, but so far there haven't been any issues in game. One gripe I have with this mouse, I guess, is the button height, because just look at how high it is, and I'm not clicking at the absolute, like, front of the click. This is where I rest my index finger. If I was, it would be a bit lower, but yeah, the button height's really high. There's just not much tactile response. These aren't hard to spam. They are on the heavier side as clicks go, and Pulsar's old mouse used Omron 20Ms, and those felt like total mushy shit. So this is a sort of an improvement, but I still feel like they could have better feeling clicks. Though for the price, it's not really the end of the world, and they were usable in game. But in regards to button quality, I have to give them credit because, as you can see, there is virtually no play on either of the buttons. And aside from that pre-travel I mentioned, the pre- and post-travel are very tamed as well. Keep in mind, though, that is not with extended long-term use on the mouse. I only have been using it for a tad over a week, I think, so just keep that in mind. Next thing to talk about are these side buttons, and it's just impressive. These feel like a rubber dome switch. There is a tactile response, but it is the complete opposite of clicky. I think this is using the same side button switches that the Deluxe M800 uses, and if you know anything about that mouse, the side buttons are one of the weak points. So I just don't like the response, but in terms of quality issues, there is just a little bit of play, so nothing to note there. And if you're not spamming these side buttons a ton, I bet you would be happy with them. You just might find the response a bit weird, but no big deal. The mouse has holes on the side. They made the Super Glide, which did not feature holes on the side, or at least not all of them. I personally would have preferred that, but holes on the side are a preference thing. I just don't really think it's worth it for the weight, but hey, I'm not the one designing mice for Pulsar. However, if I was, holy shit, what a transition, I would change this support beam, which actually functions as a mouse 4 button. When you press this very lightly, it will activate mouse 4. But what if the mouse, you see, it's lacking a DPI button? What if that support beam turns into the DPI button? You are welcome, Pulsar. That would just make everybody's life so much easier. Wouldn't have to download the software. Actually, you probably would, because you'd want to turn this to 2 ms debounce time. Holy shit, the transitions are just too crazy. What am I going to transition to next? The feet. These are just the average manufacturer PTFE feet. The edges are rounded. You can take a gander at the design. The glide feels fine. It's very smooth. Doesn't pick up the texture that much. Sort of controlled. Just average. Like aftermarket skates would be better. But I can't really complain about these PTFE feet. Next up is the sensor. It's using a 3370, and the implementation feels perfect. No issues with motion delay, unlike the Cooler Master MM731, which you can see is in wired mode because there's motion delay when it's wireless. Review coming soon. But yeah, the 3370 from Pulsar is great. The firmware is about what you would expect from South Koreans. It is excellent. And onto the scroll wheel. I don't know why they don't advertise this, but it is completely silent. It is the only scroll wheel I've tried that just doesn't make noise. I don't know what encoder it's using, but the steps are still decently well defined. No issues with scroll wheel reset in Fortnite. So yeah, I mean, it's a solid wheel as well. The battery life, they claim it's up to 70 hours. For me, it lasted around 3-4 days on a full charge. But it does use USB-C. Comes with an adapter, so no issues with the charging situation either. So, I mean, from this review, it is pretty clear that this is a solid mouse, especially for the price. If you're into safer ergo shapes, and just want a light wireless one, yeah, this is the one to get. In my experience, I haven't gotten the Model D wireless. Glorious doesn't send stuff out unless they can ensure they can get a batch of positive reviews, but that is besides the point. And I'm personally interested in seeing what Pulsar does once they move beyond this Xlite shell, because if they make an ambi mouse with, let's say, better clicks using real micro switches for the side buttons, better weight balancing, and still keep it at that like around $80 price point, then I think that's a mouse I could give the seal of approval to. Not that the shape is bad or anything. It honestly works with all 3 grips for me, but it's just nothing that after this review I'm going to be coming back to, or that I'm just like running around recommending. So no seal of approval, but it's an improvement over the Xlite wired 100%. Okay, one last gripe is when I was opening this mouse, it literally took me multiple minutes to get this box open. So if they could like fucking pre-loop the box, like you're watching me right now, I don't understand. Other reviewers would never mention something like this. And for that reason, you should make sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video. But yeah, peace. Hopefully they improve the box.